So as you know, we are in the 5th chapter titled Sannyasa Yoga, and we completed up to verse number 4 in the last class. So let us chant verse number 4 before proceeding further. Sankhya yogo prithak balah pravadanti na panditaah ekamapya stitah samyugbhayor vindate phalam. So in this verse Krishna says only the people who are not wise or who are like children, they argue that knowledge and karma yoga are different. But that means a karma yogi and a sannyasi are different, but both gain the same result. So this is what we had seen in the last class. Now let us go on to the verse number 5. Yat sankhyaih prapyate sthanam tadyogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sa pashyati. So again Krishna is continuing. He is talking about the two different lifestyle, as we are seeing, whether one should take to sannyasa or one should take the path of karma yoga, which basically means a grahastha. So karma yoga means here in this context it is grahastha ashrama, and sannyasa means sannyasa ashrama. But karma yoga is applicable to both, only the type of karma is different between a sannyasi and a grahastha. Otherwise both are. So here he says both sannyasis as well as the karma yogis reach the same goal, which is moksha. So it is not that karma yogi attains a different type of moksha, because moksha is only one. There is no two different mokshas attained by sannyasis or grahastha ashramas. Both attain the same goal, and the one who understands this, the one who sees knowledge and karma yoga as one, that person sees the truth. So one should not say that this is better than the other. But Krishna next verse is going to say something is better than the other. So we should not get confused, because at certain times there could be some contradictory statements, which the more we understand, we will be able to understand why Krishna is saying so. But here he just wants to say that both lead to the same moksha. There are no two different destinations. Both are going to the same destination. Only the way they reach may be different. So, and the one who understands this is a wise person, who acknowledges that both these ashramas lead to the same goal, is a wise person. So this is again emphasizing what he had told, that both ashramas are going to the same goal. So this is what in this verse Krishna conveys. Now we will read the 6th verse. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkhamaptu ma yogatah yoga yukto munir brahma nachirena gacchati. So here, based on the previous verse, Arjuna might have had some idea of taking sannyasa, because he says both are going to reach the same goal. So why should I go through all this war and doing all this karma and reach the same goal, while if I take sannyasa, sannyasa, I can reach it without going through all these problems. So having said that, Krishna knows that the moment he gives a chance and tells that sannyasa is superior, definitely Arjuna will prefer to take that and run away. So that is why in this verse he immediately clarifies that renunciation of action is difficult to accomplish without karma yoga. Whereas one who is committed to a life of karma yoga and is capable of reasoning gains Brahman quickly. So here he says a karma yogi reaches Brahman faster. Just to clarify to Arjuna that sannyasa is not the means, it is better to go through the karma yoga method or the grahastha method. And he also says that person will attain faster also. Now why he says this is, it all depends on one's preparedness. A sannyasi who is not prepared will have more problems than a karma yogi, because sannyasa calls for a disciplined life. So for a prepared mind, if already a person has gone through karma yoga, has prepared his mind, for such a person sannyasa is fine, it is recommended. But if you are not prepared, you take to sannyasa for various other reasons, it becomes a disaster. Because you take sannyasa out of frustration, you want to run away from certain problems, for that reason you take sannyasa, it becomes a bigger problem. Because neither is your mind prepared, nor you are able to, you will be in a sort of a trap. Because strictly speaking, sannyasa cannot be reversed. Strictly going by the scriptural practices, you cannot reverse a sannyasa once you have taken it. But of course there are people who might have done it, some exceptions are there, but strictly speaking sannyasa cannot be reversed. And if your mind is not fully prepared, you will be trapped in that. You will be wearing the robes of a sannyasi, but your mind will not be that of a sannyasi. And it may also, that is why there are a lot of these police sannyasis also who live in various places, and they get into problem, and some of them even are arrested by the police, and so people start looking at every sannyasi in a very different way. People may think any sannyasi, even if you are a genuine sannyasi, they will be looked upon in a doubtful way by many people. So sannyasa comes with a lot of problems for a person who is not prepared. Moreover, sannyasis have their own problems, even otherwise. Unfortunately, they cannot discuss their problems with other people. Other people will all come and discuss their problems with them. But nobody will ask a sannyasi, do you have any problem, can I help you? Because they assume that once you take sannyasa, you don't have any problems. So that is another. So they become secluded. They are not able to discuss their own problems with others, and they don't have any companionship, somebody to discuss their problems with. For a mature person, silence may be good. Being alone in solitude, they will welcome that. But an unprepared mind, a person who has to be alone, he will be bugged by his own mind. Because all this, at least when people are around, you will have some respite from your thoughts. But when nobody is there, your own thoughts may disturb you. Your past things may come up, and since you are not prepared, you are trying to be in solitude. It may give more problems than with people around you. So basically he is saying sannyasa is only for a mature mind. Otherwise, so that is why he says karma yoga is superior, so that even if Arjuna had any thoughts about taking sannyasa, says it is better you continue doing your karma yoga and polish your likes and dislikes, and ultimately you may reach the goal faster than a sannyasi who is not prepared. So it is only about preparedness. So if you take up sannyas without preparedness, definitely you may land up in more problem. At least karma yoga, you are not bound by many things, unlike a sannyasi. You are free to do anything you want. There are no restrictions on you. A sannyasi has got a lot of restrictions. Where you should go, what kind of people they should meet, what kind of activities they should do. So all these they have to follow, because they are looked upon as some people as more knowledgeable people. Whether they are knowledgeable or not, once one person takes up sannyasa, looking at his attire itself, people have some respect. So if they do anything which is not in tune with that, they may lose that respect. So sannyasa is a very difficult thing to practice unless you are a prepared person. So that is why Krishna says, better you may have a better chance of attaining moksha as a grihastha than a sannyasi. It is not that this is better or that is better, but for the common person, we are talking about like all of us who are not prepared. For us it is easier to go through, instead of okay, sannyasa, let me take to sannyasa and then gain jnanam. Once you opt for that option, you have to go through various problems which you may not be able to handle because your mind is not ready. So better follow the grihastha ashrama, do karma yoga, purify your mind, and then gain jnanam and attain moksha. So that could be faster for a mind which is not ready for sannyasa. So this is what Krishna is conveying in this. Now let us read verse number 7. So with this, up to verse number 6, Krishna was talking about the two different lifestyles. So having talked about the benefits, the pluses and minuses of each lifestyle, now from this verse, Krishna is going to talk about what are the requirements of a sannyasi, or what are the requirements for gaining moksha. So let us read verse number 7. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma viditatma jitendriyah sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. So what is to be done? So now let us see, all of us, suppose having listened to Bhagavad Gita, you decide that you want to gain moksha. You accept that my ultimate goal is moksha. Then what should I do next? So initially most of us live a materialistic life. We have to slowly increase our spiritual content. So if you are 100% materialistic, maybe 100% materialistic person may not look at Bhagavad Gita and he may not think that moksha is the goal. But the moment we think, okay, moksha, I feel moksha is the ultimate goal and I want to. So we have to go through a process. It is not just that from suddenly from a materialistic life you suddenly jump to spiritual life. So it's a process which you have to gain over a period of time. So from 100% materialistic, slowly you start indulging in religious activities. Basically, that is why in our culture we have a lot of religious activities, doing puja, going to temples, chanting, sahasranama, all these things are. So gradually you look at yourself where you stand today. I want to change, I want to gain that moksha. So gradually you include all these religious practices in your mind with the goal, because religious practices also can bring you a lot of other materialistic benefits also. So a lot of people do special pujas to gain more wealth or progeny or whatever. So they do a lot of religious activities. But if your goal becomes moksha, then gradually you reduce your materialistic things and slowly increase your spiritual content by. So from initially we bother about what I have is more important. But once you decide to join this path, then slowly what I am should become more important than what I have. So the process of shifting this mindset from what I have to what I am is the progress towards, this is karma yoga. So once you are clear, we have to work on polishing our likes and dislikes. So we have to make a list. What are the things that I like or which I don't like? We have to do all this Pancha Mahayajnas, which we have discussed earlier. Polish your likes and dislikes. It could be like a simple thing. If you feel I can't live without a coffee in the morning, it becomes an addiction. It's a simple thing. I'm just giving a simple example. So work on that slowly. You don't have coffee for 3-4 days. It might be a little difficult to begin with. Then slowly you overcome that, and then you have coffee. When you want to enjoy a coffee, enjoy it. But you should come out of that addiction. Okay, I can't live without coffee. It's just a simple example. It's the same thing with, so anything which is binding desire, without which you feel you cannot function, such desires have to be gradually removed. So that calls for a little introspection. We need to understand what are our binding desires, because desires will be there. There's nothing wrong in having desires, but the binding ones are the ones which are going to affect you badly. So you can extend it to even our relationships, everything. So you start looking at things objectively. The more objectively you start understanding things, the more you will be freed from your likes and dislikes. So this is a process. So gradually you need to give priority to spiritual growth. Have the Ishwararpana Buddhi, as they say. So do your actions as a service to God, and then accept the results as a prasadam from God. So this is the process we need to. This process will make your mind more and more pure. So the idea is to purify the mind. The more the mind becomes purified, the more prepared you are for gaining knowledge and attaining moksha. Because the impure mind is not ready. So you need to purify the mind, and this is the process. So from what I have, shifting to what I am. So the more you know about yourself, you will not bother about what I have. Of course, we need to take care of ourselves. So we need to have enough to take care of ourselves. So for that, whatever is to be done, you do. But the emphasis slowly becomes the percentage of what I am should become more than what I have. So this is a process over a period of time which you gain. And then you gain mastery over your sense organs. By polishing your likes and dislikes, you gain mastery over your sense organs and also your bodily functions. Because these are the two things which prevent you from progressing. So gradually you gain more and more mastery over your sense organs and your bodily functions. So this is the process by which you become more and more pure, more and more ready for the next stage, which is for gaining moksha. And once your mind is pure, and then you start looking, and when you gain the knowledge, you will realize that you are the source of everything. So the very source of happiness that you are looking is you. And then you also realize that every other thing around you also is the same thing. So first you realize that you are not the doer. Basically, you are doing action, but you are not bound by those actions because you are not the doer. So this comes only with knowledge. So a pure mind, once it gains this knowledge, and then you realize that not only me, everything around me also is the same. So the same consciousness which is there exists in every other thing. So there is no difference, there is no duality at all. So we understand, first stage we understand that I am not the doer. I am that consciousness, I am that source of everything. And the next stage you also understand that not only me, everything is one and the same. So this is how one progresses in a spiritual life. So basically, Grahastha is the best way. In Grahastha, increase the content of your spiritual life gradually. Polish your likes and dislikes over a period of time, understanding what is binding likes, the ones which addict you, without which you feel, even relationships, you can say. It is not just addiction to coffee or even alcohol or smoking. All those addictions are more dangerous. Because if you are addicted to such things, then probably taking care of your mastery over your body and mind also becomes more difficult. But even other things which may seem not so dangerous, but they are a great hindrance in the path of spiritual progress. So over a period of time, increase your spiritual content by following our traditional practices over a period of time. You can see in a day how many hours you spend for your materialistic benefit, how many hours you spend for your, and by increasing the spiritual content over a period of time, it's a process. That's and it is possible. It is not that if somebody wants to, see, there is no compulsion on anybody to gain moksha. But once you decide, then you go through this, you do some introspection. There's nothing wrong in having desires, but none of those desires should be binding. You should not have this thing that without this I cannot live, without this person I cannot live, without this food I cannot live. So if you come to that kind of a situation, it becomes very difficult. So you understand, but once you understand, you also side by side start gaining knowledge. When you understand that you are not the doer, it will help you to slowly look at things in a very objective way. The more objective you become, the more you'll be able to come out of your desires. So fulfill your desires as long as they are not binding. If you indulge in things which are prescribed, it is not that you can do anything. You know what is right and wrong, what is dharma and adharma. Within that, you do your activities and look at things which are binding. Slowly come out of them. Like we outgrow playing with marbles or tops at an age. So we never say we have given up marbles, we have given up playing top. It just we outgrow. It just becomes a thing in the past. We never miss doing these things. So you don't have to say I have given up all this. Similarly, outgrow your desires, outgrow your likes and dislikes. Don't suppress them. Gradually outgrow them, and you come to a stage like I said, coffee. If you're addicted to coffee, it is dangerous, but you enjoy your coffee when you have it. There's nothing wrong. Same way, you look at each desire, look at it that way. So over a period of time, you outgrow all your binding desires and increase your spiritual content. Then when you gain knowledge, it will ultimately lead you to moksha. So this is the way is also. So Krishna is saying, he just doesn't say, okay, this is better and that is better. He also says, in each lifestyle, what you have to do. So as a grahastha, these are the steps prescribed. It is up to the individual to how to take that. So this is what was conveyed in this verse. We will see further in the coming classes.